Morphology, coming to you with a pretty cool update. You're holding a new breeder bongo girl here that I picked up the other day, but that's not what this video is going to be about. Me and a couple friends recently went to Clyde Peeling's Reptiland, which is located just outside of Williamsport, Pennsylvania. It's a reptile-centric zoo, and I'd highly recommend that anybody in Pennsylvania at least make the trip out there to go see all the cool animals. There's some interactive exhibits, and there's also some educational programming. It's a really cool place. First time I'd ever been there in 35 years, which is kind of crazy given how much I love and enjoy reptiles. So it was very, very exciting for me to finally go there. I was like a big kid. I didn't want to leave while my friends, sort of wanted to get out of there because they were there with their kids. It's really cool, and it's also kid friendly. So if you have young ones, it's a great way to get them excited about reptiles and learn a lot more about them in the process. So I will give my brief normal spiel in the next scene, and then we will get on to the actual footage that I filmed while at Reptiland. First and foremost, support USARK. They fight for our rights as reptile keepers. They are the only body that I know of that lobbies on behalf of reptile keepers. And it costs, I believe it's $35 to become a bronze member. I highly recommend that you do that to help support our ability to keep these animals. Just give up, your one night of a dinner out, and you can support this lobby group for a year. I have been a bronze member for the past 3 to 4 years, I think. It's getting a little blurry. I've been doing this as Kraft Brew Morphology for a couple of years now. I'm into my third season breeding, so sort of some things are blending together, especially when we had the whole COVID thing in the beginning. When I started I just made this account. Yeah, I highly recommend that you support USARK. They fight for our rights to keep these animals at the federal, state, and local level. And if you're in Florida, you can also support USARK Florida. And even if you're not, I support them as a supporting member, even though I'm not in the state of Florida, because I realize that things can happen in Florida that will sort of trickle up to the other states here in the United States. And I don't want to see something happen in Pennsylvania because of some legislation in Florida. So at the end of the day, support USARK, support USARK Florida. And if you are shipping reptiles for the first time, head over to Redline Shipping and use the code ROBIN60 for 60% off your 2 FedEx shipments. I use Redline. I've been using them since I started shipping reptiles. Customer service is great. I highly recommend it. All right, now for the part that you've all been waiting for, to see all these awesome reptiles. There's quite a few clips. Unfortunately, since we weren't there alone, and I was there with a group of friends with their kids, there's a lot of background noise and a lot of kids talking, screaming, all that stuff. And there's some shaky camera movement to try to keep, for the most part, other people out of the frame. Sometimes that was unavoidable. So, I really wanted to talk through this while filming it, to give you some sort of narration of what I'm seeing, what we're walking by and that stuff. Unfortunately, with the kids being there and all the other background noise, that's impossible. So I thought about doing a voiceover, but I think I'm gonna ultimately, I haven't done it yet. I'm gonna do this right after I film this part. I think ultimately that I'm just gonna let it be like a clip show with some text on the screen identifying the species and what else is in the picture, what's going on, and just let some chill background music play while it's going on. So hopefully you stick through that and enjoy it. There's a bunch of cool reptiles, and if you wait till the end, or close to the end, you get to see a Komodo dragon eat. That part was pretty cool. Okay, here we have some aquatic turtles. There were supposed to be some wood or box turtles in here. We didn't quite see them. We did get in quite early in the morning. Here we are again, another outdoor enclosure with some tortoises. Again, it's early, so they're just coming out. I don't recall the specific breed of tortoises is, but shortly I'm going to be walking over and showing you one. Okay, here he is, and there is another one still that hasn't come out yet, which I'm going to zoom in on right now. Okay, here we are at the American alligator enclosure. There are 3 in total in here. There are 2 in this lagoon. and one in another enclosure, which I'll show later. Alright, the one over here is an albino American alligator, and there is an alligator snapping turtle in there that just briefly flashed on screen. Okay, here we are in the main reptile building. This is yet again another snapping turtle. Over here, we have some soft-shelled turtles. Again, I'm not... I didn't pick up on the exact species because I'm bad. Here are some animals that are either off getting cleaned or getting vet care or something like that. I will show another clip of when they're actually back in that enclosure. Here's me walking around, just observing, what's going on here as far as things on the wall. And here's some enclosures. I was really looking for stuff. There's apparently an axolotl in there that was just on the corner of the screen. I believe there's a milk frog in there. And there's some sort of bullfrog in that enclosure. Again, I was sort of just filming this and walking around trying to look for things that may have not come out yet. Over here we have another snapping turtle. And side neck turtles. And here we have some baby Nile crocodiles. These are pretty cool. It's been a while since I've been to a zoo or seen really anything, that's super exotic that wasn't at a reptile show. So it's been really cool to see all of these species. And over here we have another species of crocodilian. I believe this is an African dwarf crocodile. They get to be about 5 to 6 feet. So that's a pretty cool size, for somebody that might be adventurous and wants to keep them. Unfortunately, they're really impossible to get. But that's a size that I might deal with it. Okay, here we have some leaf-tailed geckos. There's a tomato frog in this enclosure. I don't know if I actually got him on film. There's also some day geckos that will show up later. Here we have a big green anaconda soaking in the water. And over here are some Gila monsters. They're actually pretty cool. They're one of the venomous lizard species that I actually would get since they're rear fang venomous, and there's been, I think only one recorded death in America on them. Here's a bearded dragon. Again, nothing too excited, but I did just want to, as I was walking around the enclosures, just film everything, try to get everything that was out on film. Over here, I believe these are the Cuban night anoles, which are pretty cool. They're rather big species for anoles. All right, and here's something we all can recognize, a green tree python. I actually like the coloration on this one here. It's one of the species I hope to get in the future when I have the space and I can have a nice display. Here's a leopard gecko. I mean, it's something we've all seen, nothing too special here. It is a rather nice leopard gecko, with all things considered. Alright, and here we have another one of our rear fang venomous species of snake. Here is a mangrove snake. In this enclosure, we have something that most of us are familiar with, as they are endemic to a lot of regions, the garter snake. Alright, this enclosure here I must have come back to 20 times to see if I could find the snake. It's not there. There's supposed to be an eyelash viper. I don't know what happened to it, but there are a variety of species of poison dart frogs in this enclosure, which it's a really cool setup for those, and I definitely am interested in getting them again in the future. Over here we have the king of them all, the king cobra. Alright, in this enclosure we have a red spitting cobra. A pretty cool species. Alright, in this enclosure we have some cottonmouths. It's a pretty cool rustic setup, sort of kind of where they live. And over here we have a green mamba. There's also a gaboon viper that is buried currently as I'm filming this specific clip. You can see later. Over here we have eastern diamondback rattlesnake. If you're from Pennsylvania, they're here. They're pretty cool. Alright, and we're moving on to another cool rattlesnake species, the sidewinder. These are pretty cool. I wish he was moving so you could see it. In this enclosure here, we have a Puebloan milk snake. They're pretty common in the pet trade. In this enclosure, we have some timber rattlesnakes, a black rat snake, a copperhead, and I think there's another timber in here. It's a pretty cool setup that all of these are sort of cohabitating together. All right, over here we got a big reticulated python. Not really being active. Again, it's still early in the morning, so the lights have probably just come on. Here's some star tortoises that were in the enclosure that had the sign, "We'll be back soon." Okay, it looks like I did get that tomato frog on film. We're back with the leaf-tailed geckos and the day geckos in that cool arboreal enclosure. All right, here's one of the iguana species that they have. Unfortunately, I didn't identify this one. It's hidden back in the corner. You really can't see him. He just moved a little bit. And here was what I really wanted to see, the Komodo dragon. I think it's the first time I've ever seen one in person, and it is amazing. And if you continue to watch this video, in a couple minutes, you'll actually see him be able to eat a deer. All right, and since we were there with kids, we had to go see the budgies and the cockatiels. It's an interactive exhibit. The kids can feed them seeds that are on popsicle sticks. So it's a nice thing to go there and do with your kids, as you can see my friends are doing here. All right, and we were back to my favorite exhibit in the entire Reptiland, the Komodo dragon. This is right before feeding time. You can see him being a big brain lizard, smart, alert. About to start flicking his tongues. Here he is as he's come back out once they put the deer carcass out there for him to eat. And you can see the long tongue flicks, deliberate movements. He's just slowly trying to figure out where the food is. And I apologize because Brad is also filming and I couldn't cut his phone out of the frame here. But this was really cool to see this animal sort of hunting, doing those big brain lizard things. Quite cool. Again, there were a lot of people here watching. And it was sort of hard to get a really good video of him, but you can see the tongue flicks now. He's realizing where he's at. All right, so the monitor is finally sort of figured out that there's food. He's about to start eating. I didn't get footage later when he was more into this meal and his head was completely inside the body cavity of this deer. It was really cool to see. Kind of gross if you're a little squeamish, but for a reptile person like me, it's pretty awesome. And the nice thing is to supply his diet, they actually use roadkill deer, as Komodo dragons are for the most part carrion eaters, and there's a similar deer-like species in their native range. All right, and here we have some emus. They are one of the biggest birds that can fly. They can run. They're smaller than, I believe, cassowaries, and obviously ostriches. But it's a pretty cool species, very smart, very attentive. It was cool. And here we are back. There's the gaboon viper, and the green mamba is currently eating a bird of some sort. All right, and we're back to the alligator enclosure. It had been, some time had passed, the lights have been on, the heat's on, and these guys are out basking. So we're able to get a much better view of them on land. All right, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed seeing all those reptiles as much as I did there in person. I know it's only, a little bit of the experience, but like I said, I highly recommend that any reptile enthusiast in Pennsylvania at least make the trip out to Clyde Peeling's Reptiland to see everything for themselves and get to get the full experience. I had a blast. Again, thank you for watching. I hope you made it this far. Stay tuned for my next video, which I believe will be a clutch cutting from the highway to the bumblebee spark ball python. There's 4 eggs. They're dimpling now. They're day 40. It's about a week away. So that's probably the next thing I'm going to do. You can stay tuned for shorts. And their Stella is shaking herself out because she never can leave me alone when I'm doing this. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time.